Welcome to the View from the Rock podcast. I'm your host, Ruck Daddy, and I'm here with Papa Swappa and Morgie. And this is our second episode of the season number 2. We have a live slate of topics to talk about today. A lot of them. We are going to be talking about some local sports, including M's Huskies Seahawks. We got some concerts that we went to recently. We had a birthday for a very important friend of ours, also happens to be a sponsor, and
Number one sponsor.
We also have musical genre to go over. We have beer of the week, and we're going to be talking about our top 3 bars that we enjoy visiting. Swap, you want to talk to me about M's Huskies Seahawks recap? What do we
Just
got going
the
on
M's,
there?
please.
Oh,
We just want self-loathing? Is that what we're going for? Is that why M's
so this time last week for episode 1 of season 2,
Yeah.
we were coming off a high. We'd been to a walk-off win, and then the M's got eliminated. /GM put his foot in his mouth.
Hey, guess what? I'm a 54%er now.
54%. What the hell?
And he apologized.
Aiming right for mediocrity.
He did. Didn't he come back and say,
He said he was trying to be funny.
No.
Well, I think that's what he said, though, was like it was a poor attempt at humor,
Well,
and it was a poor attempt at speaking. I don't know there was a poor attempt at humor, but on the bright side, we have the Huskies right now who are rolling top 10, and next weekend, it's the biggest sporting event of the year, every year, Mr. Morgenthaler, and this year it's going to be the biggest one ever.
it's never been in the history of the rivalry. Well, that was a little off.
Would you like to try that again?
I just got my braces tightened today.
Oh.
So I'm a little, it's awful.
Feeling like a real middle schooler today, apparently.
So, Oregon versus UW, first time ever. Both teams are ranked in the top 10 when they play. Game day, I think, is going to be here.
I don't know if that's official, but
No.
but the word on the street, according to the View from the Rock sources,
Where else would they go? If they don't go here, then, dude,
They already been
Backwater.
to Colorado. Yeah.
they're both top 10. It's probably
gonna be
2 of
amazing.
the top 3 Heisman candidates.
Yeah.
The only reason they wouldn't go is they just don't like having to go to Pac-12 schools.
And Bo Nix is 27.
Wait,
He's been to Auburn for 4 years.
Do you remember?
I didn't realize that. He's that old?
No,
there was like
it's a
I
joke.
s- there was like
He's
7
like
years
23.
ago.
Oh.
Like
But still.
no, seriously,
23.
like 7 years ago, the Huskies played Auburn to start the year.
Yeah,
and,
and that
Bo
was Bo
Nix was the
Nix.
quarterback for Auburn.
Yes.
I think it was 7 years ago.
That's why I recognize his name. Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be.
It's going to be amazing. The Oregon boys are coming up. We
Yeah.
might even do a live or just a podcast with the Oregon boys.
We'll see if we can handle that. You know, it may not make the airwaves, but
it
we're gonna
might
record
make the
something.
way where people that we like. If you're a very good listener, you might be able to hear it.
You know, if we ever had like some sort of Patreon, that's where that would go, but that would be a really complicated thing to do.
Is that complicated?
I mean, I'm the one who would have to do that. So I'm just saying I'm not sure if I want to do
So,
that.
how do you spell that? Patreon.
Just like it sounds.
Do you want to take a guess? Is this Morgie Spells Words Hour?
No.
Okay.
I do know how to spell it because of White Buffalo Patreon.
There's a White Buffalo Patreon.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was in Vancouver last night. I did not go, but
We were supposed to.
we were.
Were you monitoring the intrawebs like Twitter, now known as X?
Well, the White Buffalo does have a mediocre Twitter presence.
Okay.
But speaking of Vancouver, Mr. Morgenthaler went to Vancouver Tuesday night.
Yes.
How did that go?
That was amazing. Queens of the Stone Age. It was myself, Kirk, Josh, and our local sign dog, Brad. It was amazing because I had never seen them. Loved them. Probably 8,000 to 9,000 great show. They played all their old stuff, and Josh Homme is he's a legend. Like he is right now. Like I was talking to Brad, he's amazing. His guitar playing, and then just him being around like Screaming Trees and loving Lanigan, like being friends with Lanigan and Grohl.
Is he also from Ellensburg?
No, he's not from here. I think he's from L.A. Maybe.
I don't know.
But it was good.
So I saw Sign Dog this afternoon, and he said that you guys were headed to the concert, and there were like people in bear suits.
So there's another arena right next to door, and there was a gothic all women Asian band.
That sounds amazing.
So were these like panda bears then?
I think so.
Wow.
It was weird, and we're like, well, that's not our show. And we
So-
just kept walking to the next arena.
If you were an immature middle schooler without a filter, you might start screaming furries or something like that.
No,
Oh,
I don't
I'm
know,
not saying
but-
you did.
no, I don't. Yeah, it was weird, but there was a big following.
Just a typical night in Vancouver.
Yeah, we were close to the P&E,
Yeah.
so that used to be. Was that like a
it's the fairgrounds, right?
yeah
Or something?
fun park?
Was
So-
that related to
The World Fair?
Expo 86?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So that must not be near downtown Vancouver, like Granville
No.
or anything.
No. And that's the first time I've been to Canada in 22 years.
How did you get across the border?
22? What?
How did you get across the border? Do you have...
I have a passport.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you don't have an enhanced driver's license,
No, I
right?
have a passport.
Okay.
Brad has an enhanced driver's license.
Slopper, do you have a enhanced?
I have both an enhanced and a passport.
Josh has a Nexus pass.
Of course he does, because
So
of hockey.
he almost just got out of the car and walked over and then met us after we waited.
Where did you cross at?
The Peace Arch.
Blaine.
Yeah.
How was the wait at the border?
It was 4 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at
No,
all.
it was perfect.
Yeah.
Now you got something else coming up, don't you? You got like Tool.
Well, first
coming up?
off, yeah, Tool in 2 weeks, same Vancouver, Rogers Arena. That's where the Canucks play.
Okay.
We're gonna drive home, but
drive home from Tool.
yeah, that night
So it's gonna be
it's gonna be a long night.
a business trip. That's what
Yeah.
it sounds like.
Yes.
Okay.
Sign Dog's party.
That was amazing.
Gosh, Rock, you missed it.
Dude, I got home
I
like
know.
after 10:30.
Well, you could have still showed up, and it would have been epic.
Sign Dog hit the 50 mark, and in typical Sign Dog style, went big. We had 80s cover band Nightwave, which is amazing.
And Brad and Heather before the show went through their playlist and picked.
And they nailed every song.
It was so good.
They were so good. It's the second time I've seen Nightwave, and they're amazing.
My wife, because Brad and Heather's wedding was the same day as my sister Holly and Megan. Shout out to them, loyal listeners. It was the same day as their wedding.
That's right, and they were in Hood River.
Yes, so we missed out on the wedding, but it was so fun. I mean, the costumes were amazing.
Probably the best costume was Mr. Morgenthaler, who was dressed as the lead singer for Judas Priest.
I heard from multiple people that he was kind of the star of the show.
Thank
Also-
you.
also-
I told my wife I thought if there was a costume contest, I think I would be in the top 3.
I think better. I think
Well,
you were the best one. There was a great costume.
Evil Knievel.
Yeah, there was a guy there dressed as Evil Knievel. I forgot about that. But you had guy liner on.
I did.
Yeah,
Oh
your
my
eyes
God,
were
it was
popping.
off. The next day at AAU tryouts.
Yeah, your eyes were still popping.
Yes.
Yeah.
The women were looking at me like, I'm like, yes. I go, how do you get this crap off?
Is it mascara?
No. Well, it was.
Is that what that is?
So mascara, what goes on your eyelashes? Eyeliner?
Eyeliner? What is mascara?
Well, there's eyeliner, which is what goes between the eyelashes and the like lid.
I had
to
the
blend
stuff
it.
underneath.
So what's mascara?
I think mascara is what you put on the actual eyelashes, right?
So
I
I
don't-
never
I have
did
no
that.
idea.
Isn't there like a little thing that you press
Yeah, there's like a little eyelid machine.
that puts stuff on? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
I
our
was
female
just, I
listening
was
audience.
in full costume. It was awesome. Full leather.
Do you have
And-
pictures like up close?
Oh yeah.
And we walked across the street at one point to the Anchor Inn, and Saturday night at the Anchor is, it's a pretty live scene.
Are they not hell bent for leather though?
They were not hell bent for leather.
And when I walked, I was like, oh.
It was
So
like,
I just said, I'm going.
yeah.
And I went in, and it was like the mic dropped.
Yes.
And they're like,
Did
what
you
are
have platform
doing?
shoes on?
No, I had my Harley boots.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And everyone's looking at me, and I'm like, hey, we're at an 80s party. Just coming in to get a shot.
Was at least Jeff the owner there?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
And he looked at me like,
What are you doing?
oh my. He goes, what's going on?
He looked at you like, I'm worried that we're going to have an incident here.
And we went in.
Well, maybe
We had a good friend, rest in peace, Alex Coble,
Yeah.
passed away. So we had a shot in there. And Jeff's like, good thing that you're leaving in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because people are like, well, what's going on? I'm like, oh, it's a costume party across the street. And then we walked out.
Wow.
Yeah, and I wasn't Mr. Morgenthaler, but I had a pair of sunglasses on with one lens out and a shirt that said Frankie says relax.
And then on the back, what did it say?
I don't know.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Relax. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Because that's the song.
That is the song.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
I knew that one. Just would like some credit for that since it's way before my time.
Nice work, Rock.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's see what else we got.
Well, we need to make I don't know if I'd say an apology. We just need to clarify something. You know, we had a great friend of the podcast, Tara Starkovich.
Who was also at Brad's 50th.
Yeah.
And she let us have it.
She let us have it.
Really? Well, I'm glad I wasn't
Yeah.
there then. But, you know, probably the negative comments mostly came from me. So that's my fault. But
Well, hey, I
we-
did give her a 0.
Well, yeah, 0 or 1s. It was 0. Well, they say that they had it on tap. They didn't try it out of the can, and so it's very possible we had a bad batch. I mean, it's also possible that wheat beer sucks. I mean, that is another possibility.
I just think that the can led you to believe that it was going to have some fruity tones.
I'm sorry, but that was awful.
but it
We're
might
supposed
not
to
be
be
their
making
fault.
up with Tara.
I know. We are, yes. But
Well-
hey, when they say that they had a beer that was on tap, so I want to get, there's 2 beers left of that. We're going to give it to them and have them drink them.
Yeah. Because you know what? We love getting beer given to us to try on the podcast. We don't want to discourage you. We're not trying to call anyone out. So we want to give you a fair shake. So if you have something you want us to try, let us know and make sure it's good first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What else we got here?
Well,
we
a
got some
couple
more
shout outs. We got a
Yeah.
couple new listeners. We have someone that works with us.
Eric Mithen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Eric for listening.
Yeah.
And loving it.
Big fan of the podcast.
Yep.
You know, we appreciate your words of encouragement. You know, it's one of my love languages.
And
Yeah.
Stu Janke's back. He was like, where's the podcast been? I'm like, well, we have season 2, episode 1. He's like, really? Okay, I'm going to listen to it tonight.
So
and then
Ruck,
he asked if Ruck went to Australia.
Yeah, it's a big no. Again,
And he knew.
yeah.
He goes, if you haven't bought tickets yet and it's June, then you're not going in 3 weeks.
it's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ruck, can you remind us where our listeners can find our podcast?
Our listeners can find our podcast on YouTube. They can also find it on Apple Music, Spotify, and I believe there's another one in there, like Deezer, maybe. There's a lot of different podcasting spots out there to find them, but I feel like that really hits them all. Don't need to pay anything for any of those, so Get one of those apps, and you'll have us forever.
So
one more thing. We have a lot of birthdays.
we
in
have
the
a
next 8
lot
days.
of birthdays
Really?
coming up in the next 8 days.
So my cousin Andy turns 46 tomorrow.
Wow.
My brother-in-law, Sean Flynn, who may or may not listen to the podcast, turns something tomorrow.
You don't know?
I have no idea how old he is.
Okay.
I
Wow.
think
He's
well,
somebody
let's take
that,
a guess.
45.
Well, how old is your wife?
I cannot say that on the air, but
Good choice.
She was born in 1980.
Okay.
Oh my
So,
Fortunately,
Oh
most of our
my
listeners
God.
cannot probably do that math.
you know, it's around around
So
the right
I think
age.
Sean is 44.
I bet he is. So his birthday
He
is
has such a baby face. It's hard to tell with him.
well, and he's thin.
Yeah, and healthy.
He's going to age really well.
Yeah.
So his birthday is the same day as your cousin Andy's.
Tomorrow.
Andy had a great costume
Oh,
for
yes.
Side Dog's
Oh,
party.
my God. It was so good.
It was
Rock,
like a
you're gonna
I
love
almost
it.
didn't recognize him.
it was like a velvet
You saw
sweatsuit,
it.
Yeah, he had like a bucket hat.
bucket hat, and
Yeah.
then a fake abs shirt.
Like, there were people literally, like, just trying to grab his abs.
I would have
Yeah.
grabbed him so much.
And Nick Fantini turns 40 on Monday,
Wow, over the hill.
and they're in Vegas right now. Neil and Todd and Rod.
Neil, Todd, and Rod.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and
golly.
they're all in a golf tournament.
What could go wrong?
Everything.
Tado.
So
And
I
then,
can't wait to see. Oh, my God.
I've got a birthday right around the corner, Mr. Morgenthaler.
Monday.
The
serious?
next
16th?
next Sunday, the 15th.
So next Saturday is going to be just an amazing play. Like,
So we're gonna start on maybe Friday recording a podcast, going to football Saturday, wake up Sunday, and it's Swap's birthday.
And we got district tennis next weekend at
Seahome. No.
yeah. Let's see if I can step in a pile of dog crap again.
This is like a
You know
never-ending
what
story.
I'm gonna do? You know what I would do? I might even give you some of Maddie's dog poo. You bring it up and put it down, and have some Seahome parent step in it.
So this might be something that
That's amazing. That's
Well-
what I want. Seahome can suck it, Hayes.
and we're going tomorrow too to watch Seahome Anacortes
Yep.
football.
Oh yeah, you guys are going?
Yeah,
What time is
we're
that?
going.
At?
1 o'clock.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like 72 degrees tomorrow.
You know, I'm disappointed you guys are choosing that over the cross country meet down at Lakewood.
I
but
went there
that's
last
fine.
year.
Hole in the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah, it was fun.
Hole in the wall. That's right.
Yeah.
Sat on a grassy knoll.
You had the time of your life.
It was fun. I had a great time. So
We have food truck vendors, and they sell T-shirts. What's not to like?
Middle school kids go and run.
Well, that's the day before.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is nice. I don't need to see more middle schoolers.
hey, guess what? We have 30 days before Kiss.
Kiss. We looked up a set list today for what Kiss has been doing on their end of the road tour, and I got goosebumps.
So, I mean, Jason can pretty much wear what he wore to Brad's 50th birthday, by the way. Sign Dog, official sponsor of the podcast. I'm looking at the View from the Rock canvas, which you can find at our Instagram handle, the View from the Rock podcast.
And
that's-
Comment.
Yeah, comment.
We'll
share.
take everything. Yes.
Ask questions if you want to.
Yeah.
We'll respond.
I believe it's managed by a family member, right?
yes.
yeah.
Reese.
I'll be darned.
And yeah. So shout out to Sign Dog. My question was, since Jason has his get up already from being a member of whatever he was, what was he at the party?
He was the singer for Judas Priest.
Thank you. He could wear that to the Kiss show
I might.
and blend right in. So
But I don't want to feel like I'm the outcast with all four of us when they don't do that.
No, I think that the rest
But
of
I
them need
think
to elevate their game.
we should have people do our makeup.
I'd do that.
Make up wearing normal
eye,
clothes.
Just the eye stars,
Oh,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So one
they
of
might have
Brad's,
vendors.
one of Heather's good friends that they had it was a husband wife. They had the star makeup, but he also had a Kiss husky like
Yeah.
sweat. It was like a What is that?
A Malamute?
No, it was. I mean, the jacket was
Like a starter jacket?
no, but it was like a jean jacket,
It was a jean jacket,
Like denim.
like a
Yeah,
husky
denim.
jean jacket,
denim.
and it said
And then-
Huskies on the back.
and then the Kiss star
Over
on
one
the
eye.
face.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, we've been to the last 8 games, and we wear this makeup, and UW wins.
Well, keep wearing it,
yeah, keep rolling.
especially next Saturday.
Big time. Well, we are going to take a break right now before we get into our musical genre, and we'll catch you at the other side of the break. Welcome back to the View from the Rock podcast. We are here for our musical genre. Our musical genre this week is top live songs that we've heard. Now, we may have some songs that are maybe more of our favorites than we list here. Maybe not, but these are songs we've heard live at concerts. And more than likely, these songs were just as good. They lived up to what their recording was, or it could be that they were even better. Like, I'm sure at some point we'll have to hear about how Jason cried listening to Black from Pearl Jam and how it's different every single time, but I'll let him tell us about that.
Well,
Hey, I'm sorry, but I've only heard Black live one time.
really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And so that's why it's on here. And
Okay.
yes, I did cry.
And we talked about that song today.
Yes. In Arizona. So it'll be on my list.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ruck.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to shoot your shot too early. Who wants to start off with one of their songs? Swapper?
Yeah, I'll go first. And this came up on an earlier podcast. And so I went and saw Don Henley in like 1990 or 91.
No way.
Yeah. And, he had just done, I think his album was The End of Innocence. And it was some good songs. I mean, it was a good solo album. And, at this point in time, the Eagles were done. They were never getting back together. Hotel California, if you're a kid my age, is the greatest song ever growing up. And you're never going to hear that because the Eagles are done. And we're at the Gorge. And it's summer, so the sun goes down late. And it's like 9:30. And you've been in the Gorge and the sun going down.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
Amazing.
It's amazing. And they come out for their encore, and Don Henley's sitting at the drums.
Ooh.
No.
Yes.
So we talked about this, though, that it was top 3 venues in the United States, correct? Didn't we?
Yeah.
Gorge.
One
Yeah,
of the
no, I
last
believe so. Yeah.
podcasts about
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Gorge.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's sitting at the drums, and then the guitar part starts. And it's like, we're looking at each other like, this is a song like we never, ever, ever thought we would hear live. And it is the greatest song in the world.
Wow.
And boom.
You gave me chills.
Oh, wow.
You can check out, but you can never leave.
Oh my God. And but then they got back together. I actually saw them in Boise about 4 years later, and the Hell,
Really?
yeah, and the Hell
So you've
Freezes
been-
Over
oh,
tour.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they opened with that, and I saw the Gypsy Kings play their little Spanish version of it at the winery down in Woodinville. But that was just when we talk about this songs you hear live. Just those magical moments.
Yeah.
That was an absolute magical moment.
Hey, you had one by Don. Mine's kind of by Don. I'll throw one in there right now. Don McLean's American Pie was redone as sort of like, a spoof song by Weird Al Yankovic. And I remember,
Is it Yankovic or Vitch?
Well, I think he pronounces it Vic, but being from Anacortes, I believe that it's Vitch.
that's good.
There's no H on his name, though.
No, but that C at the end of a Croatian name should end with an itch. Correct?
I'm just
I
checking.
mean, I've seen it,
Yeah.
I don't know what the right answer is. What I do know is when we were there at the Monroe Fair, it was a great day. We watched the demolition derby where cars are just running into each other.
In Monroe?
Monroe. We had an elephant ear. It was the time to be alive as a 14-year-old. What a great day. And we finished it with Weird Al Yankovic. and he had just recently kind of shot back up to the top of the charts with A Long, Long Time Ago.
So
in a
was this
Galaxy Far Away.
1998?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe. I would have been 10 if that was the case.
Did he play
Okay,
like a
so
surgeon?
it was 2002?
I mean, I can look up when that song came out.
Did he play Amish Paradise?
Because I really thought,
I don't remember what his set list was. I feel like he played the
I'm fat.
I'm Fat. Yeah, he played I'm Fat. I remember that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's relatable,
Dude, he was
right?
so good.
He was good.
Dude, he was so good.
He's very clever.
Dude, he was amazing when we were young.
I believe that he
On
was
MTV?
I believe he was his class valedictorian.
So, a long, long time ago in a Galaxy Far Away was released in 1999. So it was probably when I was 11 or 12, which that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, have you guys seen UHF? That was one of his original movies.
No.
You've not seen UHF?
I have seen UHF.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually worth watching.
Yeah,
Probably.
It's weird, but it's funny. Hey, let this be known.
right.
We found a movie I've seen that's worth watching that Jason hasn't seen.
Yes.
It's not bad.
Okay.
Do you guys know what UHF is?
It's the frequency that
Yes,
they
the
broadcasted for
radio.
radio, right?
Well, I believe that it used to be on like TVs that had an antenna. There was like the dial of channels that you got. And then below that, there was a dial with like a gazillion channels. And that was your UHF dial.
So I'm assuming UHF stands for like ultra high frequency.
I believe so.
Okay.
I have a different term for that, but can't tell you that right now.
What UHF stands for?
Correct.
Is that for the secret podcast?
Yes. Oh, hey, speaking of, real quick,
Okay.
update Secret Podcast.
Wow. All right.
We are going.
Just for our listeners, let's just all be aware that this is also an update for me because I have no idea what he's going to say.
It's going to be the first week of winter break.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yes, because everyone's asking, and we had a long summer. Ruck never made it to Australia and
you
wanted to.
You chose a time where I couldn't back out and say I was busy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll
And
go to
so-
Australia in December.
So
we're going to be live at the Anchor.
December 20 something.
Correct. The first week that we have break as teachers.
Perfect.
So other people that might not be able to make it will give you at least 6 weeks notice.
So we won't do it at 2 p.m. on a Monday.
That's a good possibility.
To
That we
clarify, have you actually even asked the host?
I have.
Okay. That's good.
He's a friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Morgenthaler, we've talked about Don Henley. We've talked about Weird Al. What do you got?
Well, so Ruck made fun of me already. Everything, I mean, Pearl Jam is just, it's my jam. But, Black, first time I ever saw him was in Arizona 2 years ago. It was amazing. And then Immortality is another one. But going back, we were talking, Pat and I, about what was our first year of going to a concert. Mine was 1994. I was 19. Stone Temple Pilots
oh, wow.
in the Gorge. So
Really?
like Plush was
And that
amazing.
was right when they were at their apex.
Oh yeah, it was it was amazing. And then Metallica, 1994 or 5, in Seattle,
And we were at the same concert, but not together.
and did not know we were there together. Yes,
And that was maybe the hottest concert I've ever been to.
yes, and one from Metallica, like when it just you start hearing the war in the
yeah.
beginning, and you're just like, oh my, and then like the whole place just erupts.
And that's a great venue. And that was, like you said, about 1995 was the middle of summer, and it was super hot that day.
And Alice in Chains was supposed to come,
Yeah.
and Staley was not up to it. And then we had
Candlebox.
and suicidal tendencies.
Yeah. And Candlebox was big at the time.
But I've seen him. I saw him already 4 times. So I'm like, dude, I'm tired of you. I'm tired of Left Behind.
yeah. Had you seen them 4 times already?
Yes.
Yeah. So I had never seen them. Suicidal Tendencies was good, but Metallica that day was amazing.
Oh, but hearing one,
That was a great concert.
and then one more.
I'm so jealous, by the way. Metallica.
I will pass the mic here soon, but one more or 2 more. Soundgarden, 1994, Outshined. Just amazing.
Well, I mean, anything like that where the singer's gone. Like, you're not, that's it. Not going to hear
Yeah.
it again.
So can I jump in here because
Yeah.
Soundgarden is one of mine. So again, on a previous podcast, 92, Kitsap County Fairgrounds, Lollapalooza, Soundgarden. And I had been listening for 6 months every day to Bad Motorfinger. And my favorite song off that album is Slaves and Bulldozers.
Oh, yeah.
And when they came out, and I just could not believe that I was seeing them in person. And it was like rainy that morning. And as their performance went on, and the steam from the mosh pit, it was just surreal. Like there was this hazy steam over the crowd.
Yeah, and that place is dirty.
Oh, it was muddy and dirty and wet. And there's this like fog over the mosh pit. And they're playing Slaves and Bulldozers. And I could not believe I was actually there live listening to it. And I also feared for my safety because there were just bodies flying around everywhere.
Does Lollapalooza still exist?
It does, I think.
Really?
In the
I have
Midwest.
no idea.
Oh, so it wasn't just a regional.
No, I don't think. But it was. I think it was back in the day. But just to get you on that, like one more for me
Yeah.
was when Temple of the Dog came back,
Super band.
and I'm sitting in my kitchen and I'm like telling my mom to get on. We have like 6 devices that we're trying to get tickets for them in Seattle. Boom, sold out. 4 minutes. We did not get in. Like, we didn't press the button at the right time. You know, right when Ticketmaster or whoever. And then all of a sudden, my mom's like, well, you have like amazing seats in San Francisco. And I look at my wife, I'm like, okay, let's go. And I went.
It's funny to think about how that was the process back then. And then we think about now with the Taylor Swift concert where you just put your name in the hat in the lottery. Hopefully you get chosen and then, pay $1,000.
So I was
Whatever.
thinking about this today because, thinking back as we're looking for this topic. And when I was going to Green River Community College, along these same lines, I had
Gators, right?
I had a friend who was a girl, not a girlfriend, but a friend who was a girl, and she worked at Ticketmaster. And that was the process back in the day was
You walked up.
concert tickets would go on sale, and you would either call in and maybe get a busy signal, or you would walk up to the Ticketmaster office.
At Fred Meyer.
Yes. And she worked there.
Really?
Yes, Fred Meyer.
So she would just say, hey, I can get us tickets. So
she'd be first.
yes, I had first row for Tom Petty.
So I had Pearl Jam in Portland at the Schnitz.
Schnitz.
Yeah, Schnitz Theater. 2,000 people. There's a person that is one in front of me in the line. And this is 2004. And she's going to a country concert at the Gorge. That's going to happen like way later. And I said, hey, can I just bump ahead of you?
Yeah.
Because that spot is like 2 rows. The Schnitz holds 2,000 people.
Yeah.
So I got 12th row instead of like 4th row.
Because she wouldn't bump back a spot.
Yeah. Because you waited in line.
And that was it's just completely different back in the day. So this Kristen was her name. She would get us tickets. And First row to Tom Petty. Second row to Steve Miller Band
At the Gorge.
Ooh.
at the Coliseum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Coliseum?
So it's the old Climate Pledge.
Seattle Coliseum?
Between then and now, it has been Key Arena.
Oh, yeah.
And
So that
now
was-
it's Climate Pledge.
But that was where the Seattle Supersonics won their title, was in the
Correct.
Coliseum.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So I got one
Rock-
more.
Oh, you got one
I got
more?
one more.
Okay.
Okay, and this one obscure a little bit.
Before you go, I would just like to recognize I really appreciate your description of the last one. And I kind of glossed over it because I was curious about Lollapalooza, but the haze over the top of the mosh pit, like I can relate to that. Just that feeling, when you're in the mosh pit, it's outdoors.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's
muddy.
Washington,
Yeah.
And you can feel the
And you're in
steam
Bremerton.
coming off of you. And,
Yeah.
and you can see it off of other people. And it's just like, you're like this herd of animals. It's a wild feeling to be a part of.
It's amazing.
Well, our merch guy, Merle,
Yeah.
he has an amazing story
About Lollapalooza.
about Soundgarden and Tool. He missed like 6 hours of it, but he still hasn't paid any money yet, so he's not a sponsor.
But we have tremendous swag.
Yes,
And
we do.
We do have a tremendous sponsor in Sign Dog. If you ever
Yes.
need anything, of
Signs.
vinyl, or if you need your car to be like, wrapped,
he
anything
might
like
even
that.
wrap my entire hallway this week
Wow.
with all of the Oregon boys sleeping.
So he can do just about anything.
Like basically fatheads.
Yes.
Wow. So I'm going to throw one more at you. Jethro Tull.
Whoa.
So 1990, 91, I was really, really into Jethro Tull. And I went and saw them at not Key Arena, but its little brother across the way at the Seattle Center. The Seattle Center Arena, which is where like the Thunderbirds used to play. Smaller venue. And they opened up with Cross-Eyed Mary. And it was amazing. If you're not familiar with Cross-Eyed Mary, it starts out with a flute solo. And it's got kind of like
Dude, he's so good.
it's Peter and the Wolf kind of vibe to it.
Wow.
And they had the stage was set up like a lounge. And their lead singer, Ian Anderson, came out. And he's crazy and just such a great front man. Came out playing the flute solo. And then that song, and there are probably a lot of people here are not familiar with that song, but
I'm
it
not.
is such a kick-ass song.
I mean, this sounds like the scene from Anchorman where Will Ferrell was playing the jazz flute.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and last week with Southern Rock, I think I mentioned that Marshall Tucker Band has the second greatest flutist in rock. Jethro Tull, number one.
Wow.
Oh, I agree. Oh, yes.
Now, Aqualung is kind of one of their famous ones.
Aqualung, and
What's the one where it just goes like he really gets after it?
so Locomotive Breath.
Yes.
Off the same album. It was Aqualung, Cross-Eyed Mary on the same album. Jethro Tull, really, really
I need
underrated.
to get in them a little bit more.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of a band that I've gotten into real deep was back in college, I definitely loved The Darkness. And I've talked about The Darkness before. Probably it was mainly because my roommate, Kevin Schoenmakers, from Ferndale, got me into it. One of my buddies, Pat Hopper, super into him as well. Just got married last weekend. And we ended up getting to go to The Darkness. Probably would have been right before COVID. And if you haven't listened to The Darkness, their most famous song is I Believe in a Thing Called Love. And their singer dealt with a lot of drug issues, but has finally made it to where he's able to perform and is doing well. And his energy, I mean, it looked like we were at an 80s show. He's wearing like a bodysuit, leopard print thing with long flowing hair. He's got the sweatband. He's all the energy you could ask for. Like an amazing performer. So first of all, you're there. Like that's awesome. This is at the Showbox. But then that song in particular, like the highs that he hits in it are unreal on the recorded version. And so going into the show, you're kind of thinking there's no way this could ever live up to it. Like, I just hope it doesn't sound bad. That's what you're hoping for, and you'll be happy. But if anything, like it was better than the recorded version. Like it was insane. Like, do you want to try to hit those highs right now, Morgie?
So
During our last break, Morgie might have hit those highs. It was amazing.
I'm just thinking like him and Cornell,
Right.
like when they go that high.
They do things other people
so,
can't.
Like Outshined is the greatest song I've ever seen live
oh, yeah.
by
Yeah.
Cornell.
Yeah.
And then Temple the Dog with when he did Times of Trouble and didn't realize that that was after Footsteps.
Aren't
From
you glad
Pearl
you
Jam.
went?
Oh. And you know who else is not glad? Josh. I said, "Hey, you want to go?" He's like, "Nope." And I'm like,
And then
missed
Cornell dies.
"Yeah.
You know, and there's a lesson to be learned there.
Yeah."
Do it.
So
No regrets.
one more. It was Lollapalooza 95 at the Gorge. It was
Wait,
Beastie
what gorge?
Boy, our Gorge,
Lollapalooza at like
in the
the gorge
Gorge.
at George?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Because you said Kitsap before.
No, so
it
Green-
rotated between places?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
sorry.
92 was in Bremerton.
Yeah.
So
and I
that
had
was-
played a baseball game there like 2 days before.
Wow.
Right there.
So
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
95, it was Green Day. There were like 12 bands. The Breeders, and then it was Beastie Boys and Smashing Pumpkins ended.
That is so good.
Oh, so like Smashing Pumpkins played Disarm acoustic,
Oh,
my
my
God.
goodness.
and right before them was Beasties and Sabotage.
Oh.
And I'm literally on the stage.
Oh, on the rail.
Yes, on the rail.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of all the concerts you guys have gotten to go to. Like, I mean,
And still to go to. We've got Kiss in 31 days, according to Google, and Dirty Honey.
Dirty Honey. But hey, I mean, a couple more. So Portland, I got to see Seven Mary 3 twice.
what is
And I
that?
love so
Cumbersome.
Seven Mary 3 is a band they just named after Chips. The
TV
the
show?
Like
Okay.
Eric Estrada and John
Oh,
Wilcox.
nice.
And so they're like Seven Mary 3, Seven Mary 4. So they're like a southern rock, kind of.
Wow. And you
But that
didn't
could have
even
been a
mention them
southern
last
rock.
time.
I know,
Wow.
but they are kind of a southern
Yeah.
rock.
Okay.
So, but I love Seven Mary 3. So we got to see him twice, and then one time I got to party with them backstage.
Oh, wow. Well, hey,
I got a pic and an autograph poster.
they got to party
And,
with you.
you know, maybe secret podcast, we can talk about it.
I'll be damned.
But then Audio Slave came to Portland twice.
I'm
That'd be so
super
good.
envious of Audio Slave. Two of my favorites, Chris Cornell and Tom Morello.
I Am the Highway and Coach Heath
Oh.
twice, and like 2,000 people, and not like a place where you know how you just the old school of like you're just bumping into people. It was like everyone wants to watch.
Yeah.
Little mature, more
Yes.
mature listening audience.
It was amazing.
And I got one more before we change the topic, and
Yeah.
and it's my man, the White Buffalo, with the Whistler. And you know, I got into the White Buffalo through Sons of Anarchy, and one of the best scenes in that series was Clay getting his tattoos blackened, and they're playing the Whistler while they're blacking out Clay's tattoos, and that is such a great song.
Yeah.
And
No,
he
it is. It is amazing.
and he is so good live.
Yep.
He's amazing just how he can hit those notes. He's amazing. And The Whistler is probably his best song. And to hear that live with a bunch of bikers around, it was awesome.
Brock, you got another one?
You know, that's going to be it for me.
I got a couple more.
You got something, Dad? All right.
Real
Make it
quick.
quick.
Okay. Tool. Oh, I've seen him 5.
And you're going to see
What-
one
so-
more in
so
a
what
couple
song?
weeks.
46 and 2
Uh-huh.
and Lateralis. Queens of the Stone Age just went. No one knows. ZZ Top. I've seen him 3 times. LaGrange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Remedy.
Oh,
And then Foo Fighters.
yeah.
What song from them?
Best of You and Everlong.
Yeah.
It just,
And you saw them at the Gorge,
yeah.
and they're coming to T-Mobile this summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, August.
Well, what's coming next for us is that we're going to be talking about our beer of the week after this break. Our beer of the week is from El Suenito Brewing in Bellingham, Washington. We're going to be talking about Night Shift IPA. And after that, we'll be talking about our top 3 bars.
Yeah.
So you can introduce.
Welcome back to the View from the Rock podcast. We are here at the Yellow Dog Studio, sponsored by Sign Dog, and we are about to talk about our beer of the week. Our beer of the week, as I said previously before the break, is Night Shift IPA.
Night Shift.
Night Shift by El Suenito Brewing in Bellingham, Washington. It's on Humboldt Street. You know, when I went to Western Washington University, I lived on Humboldt Street my senior year. One of the greatest years of my life, but I don't think it was quite the same Humboldt Street. I think Humboldt kind of runs throughout Bellingham. Jason, do you have something to tell us about the Night Shift
So
IPA?
we came back from Queens of the Stone Age, and Wednesday, Josh Johnston goes, "Hey, let's go to this brewery. They have the best homemade tamales and tacos. And I think they've been open 7-8 months. It was amazing. Like, it was so good.
Hey, if Josh tells you to go somewhere,
We go there.
go there.
Yes. So we sat there. I had a different beer. Their famous beer is like a Mexican lager, but they have a Night Shift IPA. So we're gonna try it out.
Are you going to tell us a little bit about what we should expect before we try this?
Yep. So IPA 7.0 ABV. Cashmere hops take center stage with a strong character of melon and tangerine in this West Coast style IPA. So this is not a Northeast hazy IPA. It's going to be more bitter.
Okay.
So the hops,
Yeah.
like they're very specific about the hops. Lesser additions of Idaho 7, El Dorado, and Citra add complexity by imparting tropical fruit notes and some light piney notes from the Idaho 7. Untapped, I looked it up. 4 out of 5, but
Man.
only 109 check-ins.
I mean,
I'll be
anything
darned.
that's a 4 or above normally is really good.
I know.
I would just like to say, really good job reading there, Jason.
Thank you. There wasn't anything I couldn't pronounce.
So I was a little bit worried when I heard that description because I don't really want melon normally in my beer. It gives it an odd flavor to me,
I don't like melon.
but I really pick up on they say light pine. I pick up strong pine. I don't know. What do you think?
I'd like this beer.
I would say it's 100% a West Coast. They're right on with that.
So when you say West Coast IPA,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that?
Piney resininess. Like hopefully you taste the pine flavor in there. If you were going northeast, you would be getting that heavy citrus flavor. Often it feels, if you're getting the best of the northeast in a hazy, you're almost saying this tastes like I'm drinking orange juice.
So the best Northeast, like you're talking Northeast of the country.
Yeah. New England.
I'm sorry. I'm not drinking a orange juice hazy beer and thinking that's the best.
All right. Well,
I'm a Northwest guy.
I'm going to change your mind because if you were to go there to, oh man, now I can remember Treehouse Brewing.
Sam Adams.
Treehouse Brewing is one of them. They have some of the most amazing beers. Like I've actually tried them, what a real New England is like, and the best of New England beers. And it is like a thick glass of pulpy orange juice.
So I used to be a subscriber to Tavour. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Where I would get beers.
Yes, I did too.
We would get beers delivered to us every month.
And then we got in trouble.
Correct, because our wives saw the bill.
You guys are legends. Legends.
Oh, I mean, I remember we used to go and celebrate each other. Like, oh my God, let's go. Here's the
Yeah.
box.
Yeah, we'd get
and
the
then
box.
we just look at them.
You know, you make me feel guilty considering I have no wife to be accountable to, and yet I don't do these things still.
Rock, we need to set you up with Tabor.
This is a
You
a
would love it
woman,
because-
or this is like a beer service.
Beer service,
Okay.
but there's like the beers that you would love.
It's amazing.
You can always get.
So they here's how it works. You get an email almost every day with a beautiful description of the beer, and all you do is reply and say like
Sure.
Yes, no.
1 bottle, please.
0 or 1.
No, or just yes, 1 bottle or 0.
And they have your credit card. And then at the end of the month, you think you've ordered 2 beers and you get a box of 70.
It was so fun.
Oh,
it was a great time.
It was
It-
fun.
it-
You know what? We flew too close to the sun with wings of wax.
You know what, though? That's maybe something we should use for our podcast. Shouldn't we?
Maybe.
I mean, it's a really good excuse. I mean, I don't know if your wives listen to this podcast, but it might be a good excuse to say, you know, this is for the pod, because I think they support the pod.
My wife doesn't listen, doesn't care, so she can suck it because she's not listening.
Kelly, we love you.
No, but it was amazing. So anyway, the reason I brought that up is they had a special one time on a New England IPA, and I bought like 8 bottles,
And
and they were 22 ounces, and it was great. They were phenomenal. I felt like
Just-
Robert Frost drinking them.
Oh, it was fun. We had
Yeah.
we had so much fun with that.
Do you remember the time there was a snow day and I had like
Yes.
6 White Buffalo IPAs from the Anchorage Brewery?
Yes. Oh, it was so fun.
so, hey, what are your thoughts on the El Suenito Brewing Company's Night Shift IPA?
It reminds me of the Deschutes Fresh Squeezed IPA.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It
Well,
really
you
does.
just
You
have
just
you
had,
had one today?
Yes.
No, you didn't open that one.
No, it does though. It's
does.
very
I like it,
I do too.
So, I mean,
but I haven't been drinking beer for 40 days.
Well, I think that their description is actually pretty accurate because I definitely at first got the pininess, the resininess, which a lot of the times I don't feel like is very present, or is so overpowering that that's all you taste. But I almost feel like because they tried to do this lighter, you get that flavor as like an accent to all the fruit flavors you get in it.
Yeah.
And so you taste the fruit. I don't get the melon, thankfully. I get the tangerine though that they're saying, which is fine. And then there's like an accent or a hint of like that pine flavor. It's good.
So, I mean, anyone that's out there listening, you go to this brewery to get their, like, they have great beer. They have a Mexican lager. It's amazing.
How's the food?
The food is amazing. Like, homemade tamales, and then the tacos. Everything is good. Like, it's amazing.
It's El Sueñito.
I don't know.
Yep. Hey, so speaking of, I don't know if you consider the place we were just talking about, El Suenito Brewing, you wouldn't consider that a bar, would you? Wasn't a bar.
No,
it was more
it's
of a brewery, right?
It's a brewery, yes.
Well, we are about to talk about our top 3 bars. This is kind of an exciting topic for me. When we first kind of talked about this, I felt like, do I really go to bars? I don't know if I do.
You know, and I thought about that too, and I don't really. Like I'll meet you guys for a beer every once in a while, but not really. I don't really go to bars.
Yeah, because like the problem with bars is there's people there.
Yes.
I don't like people. So
But I think you bring that up, and I think it brings up a good point. You know, when you talk about bars, I think what makes a good bar is there's a culture to it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
there's some character, and it's emblematic of the community, or or any number of things, but it's not about sitting there and drinking.
No.
It's about, this is a cool place that is kind of unique to that community.
And showing up, maybe putting your name, like signing it somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere you go. Yes.
I mean, it's basically like the bar has a theme inherently, whether it's what the owner intended or it's just because of the clientele that ended up showing up there. And it's consistent to where you go there knowing exactly what to expect. Like, we're going to talk about our top 3 bars. And I would say that, I don't know if you guys have this in your top 3 bars or if we should even count it, but I'm ready to dig in with my number 3. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
You're going number 3.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 3 for me, I'm going to go with the Hong Kong.
I'll be damned. That is a great call.
Hey, by the way, that might be the number 1 bar next weekend.
Yes.
For Oregon boys?
Oh, they love the Hong Kong so much.
Dude, what is...
Keep talking.
So, the Hong Kong, it's dark. It's carpeted floors. It's just...
It's a Nash show, which is fun.
And you go in there and you might see people where you go, oh, that guy, which is kind of a fun characteristic to have. And one of the things that I really appreciate about them is that even though it's a Chinese restaurant, in their bar, they're not like, it's like bar food, but it's with some Chinese flair to it. So one of my favorite things to do at this bar is to just order the whole happy hour menu. Obviously, I couldn't do that by myself, but like with a few other guys, because you get the lumpia, which love me some lumpia. It's essentially like Thai,
Maybe Filipino.
thank you. Egg roll, but like way better. It's just like filled with meat, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think that the bar has the best wings in town. The salt and pepper wings is the ones you go with, and there's no salt and pepper, but what they are covered in is garlic and like green onions.
Yeah.
And then they've got like the sauce you get to dip them in, and it's next level. Like that's all I need, because then you're gonna get all your cheap beers you want there, and what more could you ask for in a bar?
And you have the
but wings
screen
and cheap beer.
for the Seahawks games.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, I'm sure Ruck doesn't, but you might, Jason. Back in the day of the Sonics, they had their own network.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Where you couldn't watch the games unless you subscribed to the Sonic channel.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the 90s, I'm not making this up, Ruck.
I'm in shock.
So in the 90s, the Hong Kong was at times the only place you could watch the Sonics.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's a great call on that. So my number 3, and we put no parameters on this. I mean, we could have put number 3 in Anacortes or top 3 in Anacortes, top 3 in Skagit County, and we put no parameters on it. My number 3 is Nampa, Idaho, Pete's Tavern. As many of you know, I went to a small Christian college, and so my buddies and me would have to be, because we were athletes, we would have to be fairly clandestine about where we would go have beers. And we'd go to Pete's Tavern, downtown Nampa, Idaho, super old bar, and we would just go there and good, clean fun. We'd have a couple pitchers of beer and play pool a couple nights a week.
Wouldn't get in trouble?
Well, because nobody that went to college would ever go to Pete's Tavern. And, you talk about like kind of how it fits into the culture of a community. There were always these 3 or 4 old guys sitting at the bar watching PBS every night. And they were the only guys in there. We'd go in there and play pool, have a couple pitchers of beer, and these guys would be sitting there watching PBS. And that's what makes a great bar.
Yes.
Is that kind of crap.
Yep. So our cabin is Pend Oreille River, and my dad used to do a bike group, and we'd ride over and then go some places. So we decided one year we're going to ride to Northport, and it's about an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, Cuck's Tavern.
Cucks.
Yes. Kuk. Is that how you pronounce
Is that
it?
someone's last name or what is that?
So, I'm going to give you a little history. So, maybe we can have like people find out what is the oldest bar in the state. Because there's like 4 or 5 that think.
So I thought it was Toby's in Coopville.
So, what year?
Maybe 1868.
Oh, that might win.
I might have just made that up. Or how about the Brick in Roslyn?
Well, so we don't know with that. But so
I feel like we need to go on a couple
so
field trips here.
Northport, Washington. It's right off the Columbia. Founded in 1889, the same year the town was incorporated in Washington and became a state. There was a fire, massive fire in the town in 1914. Like the entire town almost burned down,
Wow.
except for the bar. So I went there with my dad and a couple guys on a bike tour from the cabin.
Cucks.
Cuck's Bar. And there's pictures of the head coach for Gonzaga Bulldogs.
We will not say his name because there could be Gonzaga fans listening
Yes.
to the podcast.
Yeah. So he loves it up there because it's good fishing.
Yeah.
He loves anywhere that's fishing. So the whole town burnt down. And then, but except for the bar, and they rebuilt the town a block up after 1914. But you guys have never been to Northport.
Oh, definitely not.
There's a teacher at the high school that has.
I think there's a teacher at the high school who grew up there, right?
Yes.
Mr. Barabald.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So, Ruck, what's your number 2?
You know, this is kind of the difficult choice for me. In some ways, I almost feel like my number 3 could have been elevated to 2. But I spent a lot of time in Bellingham in my formative years.
Oh.
And so I know my number 1 already is in
Yeah.
Bellingham. My number 2, I mean, I'm deciding in this very moment between these 2 options, and I'm gonna have to go with the Beaver Inn. You ever been to the Beaver?
I never have.
The Beaver Inn used to be on, I believe it was State Street, and it was just this little hole in the wall. They had some games in there, but like, you know, real plush carpeting.
Yeah.
And it was a great place to get some like Long Island iced teas. It just had a different vibe. Now,
I'm sorry.
what?
That's what you would get? A Long Island iced tea
It's a pretty good drink.
when you're in college?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either that or an AMF. You ever heard of an AMF?
Nope.
So there's basically there's a lineage of drinks that all sort of form around this idea of you put 3 or 4 different shots of alcohol in a drink, and then there's a couple of them that are interchangeable, and it ends up making different drinks. The Long Island iced tea is one of those. The AMF is another one of those. And so you substitute, I forget what it is, but the AMF is blue. And because it's got blue curacao in it, it makes it blue. And then the AMF or the Long Island iced tea instead has like Coca-Cola and something else in it. And so it makes it taste like iced tea. Anyways, they have a lot of alcohol in them. That's the reason why college kids order them. But it was a place to go early in the night where you're just hanging out. It was chill. They had like lounge chairs in there, but a lot of pinball machines, things like that. It was just a good time. You know, you never wanted to be there too late at night, but it was a good place to start.
So my number 2, Mr. Morgenthaler, Anchor Inn.
I thought about doing that. I should have.
Yes.
I regret
Shout
it.
out to Jeff,
Yep.
Secret Podcast in December.
I just think if there is one place in Anacortes where you're going to go to that is a bar,
Yes.
that is the bar in Anacortes.
Yes. And then you sit on the bar and you look at all the
Bumper stickers.
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah. Pull tabs, bumper stickers.
Yes.
It's,
Question.
yes.
I mean,
I've
yeah.
never done a pull tab. Like, what is that? What is that like?
So they have these paper things that you pull. They are tabs. And it's kind of
okay.
like the paper version of a slot machine. And the strategy ostensibly is that you look and they block out on the outside of the pull tab machine. You can see how many people have won. So if you see a container that has the big winners have not yet won, then maybe your odds are good.
So like
And who's-
50 cents a pull tab.
That's
Yeah.
how much they cost.
50 cents.
So then, two questions. One is, like, is there a max like that you might win?
It'll say right on
it'll
the
say
thing.
on there.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
And
So
500
like
bucks.
500.
Yeah,
And so then number two is like, who's paying you out that money?
maybe
The bar.
yeah,
So in other words, you're paying the bar
It's
the
a
money,
it's a state. I think it's state run.
like
just
the
like
state
the lottery.
gaming commission.
but
Yeah.
it's probably a pretty easy thing for bars to want to set up, because I imagine if it's a self-contained thing with a certain number of pull tabs to get, they know they're going to make money off it.
There's like a slot machine. They're not
Yeah.
losing money.
Absolutely.
And then if you're sitting there playing pull tabs, you're drinking.
So I remember as soon as I turned 18, we went to the bowling alley,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we did pull tabs.
I remember that they used to have them. I don't remember seeing them at the Anchor.
It is literally
No, this was at the bowling alley.
It's slot machines,
Yeah.
but it's paper.
And 18 years old.
Well-
So you can't go to the Anchor at 18.
No.
But the bowling alley used to have them.
Yeah.
I mean, gambling is like the only thing now that you can do when you turn 18.
Besides vote or go to war.
I was talking about things that are fun.
Okay.
So the Anchor, Anchor, yes. It's amazing. I've had some fun at the Brick.
Yeah. Is that your number two?
My number 2.
What is the Brick?
It's in Roslyn.
Oh,
So outside of
like
Clealum.
going over the pass.
Yeah.
That might be. Some people say that's the oldest bar in Washington.
But I think it's not.
It definitely has a spittoon.
Whoa.
And there's man, is there like some people like have done bad things?
Peed
Yeah.
in the spittoon.
And then they have their name blackballed.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Why would it be a big deal to pee in the spittoon? It's full of like spit and
But
gross stuff.
that wasn't what it was doing at the time. Like it wasn't a spittoon or like a pee place.
So there's like a little gully below the bar. I don't think it has running water anymore,
Yeah.
but it did. And it's a huge building.
You've never been there.
Oh, I never heard of it. I've never
Never
been to
heard of-
Roslyn.
Have you been to Clealum
I mean,
on your way to
I think we've stopped on our way.
you stopped it to get gas and
Yeah.
you made it gone to Safeway
Yeah, exactly.
there.
Yeah,
and it's windy
yeah.
and 90 degrees.
I mean, normally it's pretty cold when I'm going over, but
So do yourself a favor and drive up to Roslyn and go to the Brick.
okay.
Yeah,
It's 3 miles.
Pretty cool. Yeah, it's a huge building in the middle of a teeny tiny little town.
Shocking. We ready for our number ones?
Oh, hey,
think-
everyone's gonna roast him
Why?
I think
because you've never been there.
Is that a big deal?
that's also where they filmed Northern Exposure. Do you know what that is?
It's like a soap opera, right?
It was like a show.
No, it's not a soap opera.
I don't know. Something from the 80s, probably.
Yeah.
No, it was 90s.
I don't know.
So is our number one the same?
Yeah,
Okay. What's your number one, Rock?
My number one is the Up and Up, which doesn't even exist anymore.
That's a good number one.
The Up and Up in Bellingham, Washington was opened in 1935. It recently, in the last like 20 years, had different owners, but I believe it closed in the last maybe 7 years, which is pretty sad. My fond memories of that place were that they had a little outdoor place you could hang out, but indoors, before it got too late in the day, they had a couple pool tables you could play at. Next door, they had Rudy's Pizzeria, which you could order through a little window. Wasn't the best pizza, but when you're in an establishment, playing some pool, already having some beer, it's nice to be able to just order some pizza. But their probably biggest claim to fame was that they always had $2 pitchers. $2 pitchers of beer. And
So
for the
what
most
year was this?
would have been probably 2008 or 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I mean, I don't know what other beers you could get, but we just always got PBR.
Oh, yeah.
PBR, $2 pitchers. And it was like, on a Friday, you'd get done with all your classes. You'd head down there about 7 if you wanted to get some pool without being bothered. And you'd start with some pitchers.
Yeah.
And it was
That's
just,
not- but, I mean, Bellingham sounds like an amazing college town.
it was.
It's a little like I was a small town.
Now, the thing I would say is that it seems like it's got a little more bougie now. It's so
yeah.
brewery based,
Yeah.
less tavern-y
Oh, yeah.
bar kind of. Back in the day, it was Up and Up. It
Black
was
Cat.
the Black Cat. It was Caps. It was the Green Frog. It was all
Green
these
Frog.
different taverns and bars that
Yeah.
you could just rotate through. And it's not quite like that
Yeah.
anymore.
So my number one, Mr. Morgenthaler,
It's amazing. It's the greatest place on earth.
and it doesn't exist anymore.
Yep.
The Harbor.
Never been,
Well, you wouldn't.
You were 9 when it closed.
probably.
So it is where Island Cafe is right now.
In the back.
And so by day, you get yourself a good breakfast.
And then there would be like old timers sitting there having coffee.
Yeah. And
Now, this is different from the hatch cover.
correct. The hatch cover is where Secret Cove is now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. By day, breakfast joint. By night, the seediest bar ever.
Worse than the Red Lion.
Oh no, not worst,
Exponentially.
but just better in terms of just the like just the town
Yes.
embodied like the harbor,
The harbor was the heart.
like fishing. You were a logger, like just it was just a
Like
blue
when
collar.
when you were
like,
21, it was like,
oh my god,
do you
can
want
I
to
can I go there
into the harbor?
or am I not like
Or-
am I going to get beat up?
Can we go in here? Or
And
are
was
we
the anchor not around at that moment?
No,
It
the,
was.
The harbor was like the anchor on steroids.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, it was,
It was amazing.
yes.
Less humble.
Oh,
I took my wife to the harbor.
I'm
And-
amazed that it was, how long has it been closed?
I think I took her there in like 2002. And we went to like the Brown, then the Watertown.
The Watertown was on my
But
3B list.
Yes. I mean, and then it changed to the H2O.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then you would go to the harbor because they would have their clocks an hour changed.
It was, they didn't follow rules.
Really? So they
Yes.
wouldn't close at like 1
No,
o'clock?
it
So
was
1:45, you went to the harbor.
bar time.
And they
Bar
had
time
one-
was bar time, and then the harbor was harbor time.
and then they had one bathroom.
Oh.
Yes.
So
it was
anyway,
like,
the
you know,
har-
always reminded me, and Ruck, I'm sure you haven't seen this.
So
Morty.
hey, here's the deal. Here's what it is.
Yeah.
It's Copland.
Yes.
Like
But, hey-
Matt Ivy says, he goes, "You live in Copland," and it was.
Did you ever see the movie Barfly with Mickey Rourke? I felt like the harbor was the bar from Barfly. with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, no, I've never seen that.
My
Never
wife,
heard of it.
Oh, she went to the harbor one night. She's like, "This is like really weird,"
It was kind of scary.
but it was fun.
It was awesome.
I mean, there's still a market for that kind of a place.
Yes. I think Barfly was based on the works of the poet Charles Bukowski. I could be making that up.
Well, since no one here knows who that is, we aren't going to call you out on that one.
I'm going to Google it real quick before we get off the air.
Yeah, fair enough. You know, it is a place that I've heard quite a reputation about for a long time. It was always that. It was the harbor, the Red Line, and the Anchor. Those were like the holy trinity of bars where you might lose something.
The
A
Red
wallet
Line. The Red
or-
Line was a good bar.
It was.
Yeah.
It was scary too, though, right?
It
No,
wasn't
you know,
scary for us.
It wasn't as scary as the harbor. When I was 21, I thought if I went into the harbor, I might lose a kidney.
Because I've heard stories about the Red Line where like people were stored in the back freezer.
That might be something for the secret podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in our town that's crazy.
Can confirm Barfly was based on the works of Charles Bukowski.
Okay. Wow.
I
Well,
don't know how that came to me.
I
epic.
can't spell that.
Mickey Rourke, though, did you ever see The Wrestler?
Yes.
That was a great movie.
Yes.
He was phenomenal.
Well, I think it's about that time. Any final comments before we move it on?
Well, I think we're going to do this again next week, and
Hey,
it might involve
next
the
week
Oregon
is gonna
crew.
be amazing.
Yeah.
We have some friends coming from Oregon. Anyone that's an Oregon Duck fan, John Richards can suck it. Oregon sucks.
Hey, John Richards is the only Duck fan I like.
I know.
Man,
We're going to have some fun. And maybe it might be out there, it might not, but it's going to be amazing.
you know, I can't wait. This has been another episode of View from the Rock podcast. Don't forget that you can find all of our episodes on YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere else that your podcasts can be found, like Apple Music. Until next time, stay safe.